Hi guys, welcome back to another Timeless Reading. Filming this very late on a Sunday, November 23rd. Pulling from the Game of Thrones tarot card. So, like, for a lot of you, like I have a huge American audience. I know I have a lot of Canadians as well, but it's like heading into American Thanksgiving. So I know like some of the college kids are coming home if they're already not home for the holiday season. So yeah, like it's a little bit more quieter, but it's like at least in this way we can get some stuff done. You know what I mean? Because that's why I say timeless. Whenever it finds you, whenever you have time, don't feel like the message has left you or it doesn't resonate. It's like this could, like, you know, I'm watching, I came across a new healer and I'm watching videos that she filmed in October that are so potent. Like everything, my father's nickname and all this stuff. So it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like when it finds you, it finds you. Never mind the dates or anything like that. Just go with the flow of it. So we just came across this heavy energy with the new moon. New moon is now here. You should feel some lift in the anxiety. You may feel a little bit. But remember we got the High Priestess last week and there's like knowledge is coming forward. Information is coming forward. You'll feel this in the new moon. Well, of course, you know, with retrograde being what it is, it came forward. And it's just like confirming what was told to me. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like you get, if you're a healer, you know, or if you get downloaded messages, you're just like, okay, it came down, but you know, maybe that's just, you know, because someone had said that to me and it's kind of messed with me for a while. So like ego, but I'm just going to pull this card from the bottom. King of Spears, following your intuition as we're talking about this, but they're showing like traitor. And I feel like this is energy. I don't feel like someone is actually portraying you, but I feel like it's like energies or information that came up that will try to make you into this state where it's like you've been stabbed with 1,000 swords, you know, then poured lemon juice, like, you know, kind of like Pulp Fiction where he goes medieval on his butt, you know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like that's like they want you to, this is why purposely it was sent in, is to tear, because people are trying to put like evil eye or evil energies. That's why I tell my kids, watch what you say. You know, that's why you do your things. Call back in your energy. You sit there and protect yourself. You know what I mean? You don't leave yourself open to be vulnerable. Like, be careful with your manifestations. You know what I mean? Like, I really didn't expect that to happen. But, like, I called in someone like my dad. But it's like someone sat there and transmuted it. It's like, oh, you want someone like your dad? Well, he'll have a heart attack and pass away like your dad. It's just like, oh, great. Thank you. You're like, you piece of garbage. So watch your wording. Make sure it's closed off. No harm to none, including myself. Make sure you put that crystal clear, period. There's no comma. That's it. You know, we want things to come in. We want positive things to come in because there are people that are watching you. There are people that want to sit there and drain you of your energy. Notice how the Ten of Swords, it's like red. That's like this blood red. And I feel like this is like root chakra, grounding yourself. I did a meditation. Found a new one. It was something I saved from a while back. They had sent it on as a suggestion. And I was just like, you know, I feel still the sound baths, but, you know, let's try something a little different. I was like, maybe I should go for like, you know, night sounds or something like that. Like ones that when I meditated all summer with. And it's just like things to ground you because I feel like it's, gotta love winter allergies. But again, it's like throat chakra. Trying to block your voice, trying to block your message. So watch that. We have the Hermit. I feel like, you know, shining the light. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about, like this is trying to knock you off your feet. This was meant to sweep the rug from underneath your feet. Don't allow it. With myself, I'm like, it happened almost 9 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like, am I really going to beat a dead horse? It's like, you know what I mean? It doesn't affect me. Like, you know, with no harm to none, including myself, and I don't want it coming into my life. If it does, we'll deal with it. But it's just like, when you grow up, when you come into yourself and you know your value and what we value peace so much. You know what I mean? Like, try to drag us into gossip circles and stuff and toxic energy. And it's like, I don't have time for that. My life is so busy and full. It's like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, I don't need to do anything. You know? I would like to kiki with some people, but I don't want it to be toxic where it's like, you know, trying to make that energy that's over there come over here. It's like, no. This is a peaceful place. King of Spears, being on your intuition, being on your toes. So, I definitely would do a meditation, calling back in your energy, Watch who you tell your secrets to is what like they specifically said. Watch who you tell your secrets to, because it could be people that you think have your best interest at heart, and they're like, not really. You know, we're going to use your secrets against you. You know, Six of Cups. This is what I was talking about. Someone coming in from the past. You know, Six of Cups for me is usually like pulling from a strong pillar. And I feel like this is where, you know, going back to those cards, they were showing 3 presents, kind of like when you go on Temu and it's like, oh, you know, discount offer, what a load of crap. But it's just like, or you go on casinos or some sort of thing where it, you know, it's a glittery present, you know, because it's that time of year of gift giving, right? And it's like, pick it. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's just like, you know, where people will sit there like, oh, well, that was going to happen anyway. They try to take away from that happening. I'm like, but it could have went the other way. You know what I mean? It's just like, see it for what it is. Like, even if it was going to happen, it's like I felt, like I said, I felt like it was going to be 2 minor ones and a big one. So it's just like, when you start seeing things that people overlook in a beautiful way, in an appreciative way, in a grateful way, it's like, you know, like I said, you know, not trying to sit there and mess around with anything, but it's just like, you know what? Even if that's so, it's just like so calm and cool and collected. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it went that way. I'm going to be grateful it went that way. And I wrote it down. I didn't care. You know, people will say, oh, well, that was going to happen. Well, who cares? If you start being grateful for the things that come into your life, you know what I mean? It's like when you start being so arrogant, it's just like, oh, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's just like you take away the beauty and the light of everything. You know what I mean? When you try to sit there and tear everything down to be so small and so frivolous, so trivial. It's like when you appreciate the trivial things in life, you will appreciate when the big, grandioso ones, they're like, you are definitely worthy of this grand blessing. Like, it's not going to be wasted on, you know, shallowness. On weak hands, on weak minds, you know? Like they said, we will bless your hands so we can use your hands to bless others. Your mouth, your voice, like I started coughing there, and it's like trying to stop your voice, throat chakra. You know what I mean? Trying to purposely stop your voice. So maybe you have something important to say. With the Six of Cups there. You know, but I feel like here when this definition specifically with this deck is calling back, like, because they're half siblings. Their mom tried to build this, which was unfair to him. You know, and ended up not even being true, right? If you, well, I don't want to, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, then definitely something to watch. I just saw the card that's under the Emperor. Good Lord. 4s in here. 4s are usually good things. Movement, they're saying transportation, so we'll go with transportation. But the Emperor, your pillars of your foundation. You know what I mean? I feel like, again, with his, they're going to the astrology answers with his crimson red robe. Again, grounding energy. Because he has his sword out, it's like, I feel like cutting things out of our life. I feel like this, especially this holiday season, a lot of people have been posting this, and it definitely resonates, where it's just like, you know, I grew up in a Catholic, like, you know, tradition of Christmas. So I feel like here it's just like, you know, we celebrate Hanukkah. We do both because the boys grew up with a Christmas tree. Shane loved Christmas. So I might end up putting it up. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm kind of feeling kind of blah about it. You know what I mean? Like, I get into that energy where it's like I should put it up. But it's just like, I don't know. It felt like November was so fast. Like, I thought there was another week after this week coming up. So the week of American Thanksgiving, I thought there was another week. But I'm totally wrong there. So... if you had some rest and rejuvenation, I hope you enjoyed it. 4 of Swords in the reverse. So it's like, like literally I posted this. It was, I posted something that was like, ha 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 ha, because they're being sarcastic. I'm sorry to laugh so hard, but that's just, I know my girlfriend Laura's going to watch this and just laugh her butt off. Like, of course. You remember the R word's not done for another week this week. So be kind while you're away on the holidays here. You know, try to be your fun-loving, quirky self. You laugh through it. Be like, it's almost over. 7 of Pentacles. They're showing seedling sprouting. that's what I was talking about, manifestations. Don't leave it so open-ended, with no harm to none, including myself. When we're sitting there, where, transmute that energy. So, someone's putting, trying to mess with your energy. I was like, the starting of last week, it was just like this lighthearted energy. It was like, oh, I love this, and then here we go. But it's like the 7 of coins. It's just like, seedlings. It's like things that you're trying to sit there and work out. And like, he's sitting there and he's exhausted. You know what I mean? Like, he's exhausted, whatever it was here. So usually we see, like, with gardening, it is exhausting when you're sitting there in the sun and you try to do it in the early morning so the sun's not beating on you so harshly. But by 11 o'clock, it's like, it gets really toasty out there. But I feel like this is like, you've exhausted. I don't feel like you've exhausted all your resources. Because I definitely feel like there's a major shift coming in December 15th, where it's just like, everything we're talking about, they're like, if it hasn't come to pass by December 15th, it's coming on the other end of that. And I feel like this is like making way for the next chapter, the next part. So you maybe, like I said, like they were really specific last week with divorce was the word they used. So it's just like, you will feel that transition where it's like you went through this like kind of 4 cup energy is what they're showing. Holding everything close to your chest and the fear of losing it. Going back to the 6 of cups, if you go to like the astrology answers meaning, where it's like able to fill other people's cups because the universe, like you just have this unwavering faith. I know Yahweh Yeshua will fill my cup. They always do. It's just like, Ace of Spears. This, like literally talking about this, Ace of Spears is in my hand. That fiery energy, let's transmute this energy. Like, retrograde could be seen as like, bringing up information from the past, people coming up from the past 6 of cups. So that may be possible. So you might get a DM from someone unexpectedly. I just feel like a lot of unexpected things from unexpected people. And it's like, still be thankful for it. People's perspectives have changed. They just followed the narrative. They just followed the stories. Wheel of Fortune. It's like, again, in that kind of hermit mode where it's just like life on pause, or like so many things have moved forward, but now someone is trying to put you on pause again. Someone is trying to forcefully sit there and do their thing here, where it's just like, oh, you're growing too much. You're doing too much. You know what I mean? And it's like too much for you. Just because you choose to be the way that you are doesn't mean I choose the same path. That's why we're all individuals. That's why we're all snowflakes. They're literally showing snowflakes. Kind of Rise of the Guardians. When Jack Frost would come in and you see it all around the window and he made the bunny and stuff like that, they're showing like that. But it's like a big snowflake. So it's like the frost all around a window and there's a big snowflake in the middle. So maybe someone did like a 3D kind of stained glass art, or they made this really cool snowflake that they're going to hang in the window. Maybe it's a decoration that resonates with you. But Wheel of Fortune, it's like, again, this fiery, following our intuition with that King of Spears there. They're just like, follow your heart, follow your passions. What ignites your fire inside of you, You don't have to give into this craziness. But it's just like, especially because of the holiday season, if you're visiting family or it's just like, ooh, it's just like, just see your way through it. You'll find your way through it. It's just Ace of Coins. So, opportunities coming in here. Like, literally, my girlfriend just told me about another opportunity. And I feel like, a lot of us could say for that, it's just like, when one comes in, multiple comes in. So for her, I feel like there's 3 or 4, maybe even possibly 5. She's always like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it can't be just one, an easy choice. It's like, nope. Ace of Swords, so an era of truth. Lots of aces here. Like ones, like, beginnings. But it's like coins. It's just like, sitting there and it's just Ace of Pentacles. It also grounding energy. But also like a door, like a path, like this hedge. It should have been sit there and block you. But it's just like, no, because remember we talked about the first, any journey starts with the first step. You know what I mean? It's like you come into this energy where you're ready. Makes sense with the 4 of Swords there in reverse. It's like, because you showed the universe. Oh, poo. I keep knocking all these cards over. With the 4 Swords in reverse, it's like, you sit there and you're showing the universe, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for the opportunities. So with her, It's like already done something in that, like took action in that avenue. So now where you're seeing all of these coming, and this has been coming up after reading for her. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is where the Ace of Swords comes in, and they're just like, there's truth to this because I think it's showing you your value, and she knows what I'm talking about. It's like we're showing you who you are because sometimes we forget who we are, or people make little stupid comments or do things, so they don't get too full of themselves. We can't have that. They'll be way too full of themselves. So they purposely try to keep you down. So it's just like allow this to come in Empress. So again, rebirth, going back with the Ace of Wands there, and this is rebirth. So they're highlighting stomach, about to give birth to something, and this is where they're saying taking the first step is going to unlock so many things. You know what I mean? I feel like this is adjacent possibilities and the energy oracle cards, and it's like opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I feel like this is more business for her. For some of you, this will be business and love. You may meet someone because you took that step to do this, and it's like you weren't looking for it. Like, I just don't want the phone to fall over. You're just taking this opportunity, and it's like, oh, you know what? You'd be perfect for my brother. Something like that, Ten of Cups. Unconditional. Look at that. Ten of Cups and the Nine of Coins. Nine of Pentacles. So Ten of Cups, unconditional love. This is because who your heart is. I feel like this is like Hanukkah. It's like on the kind of like the 12 days of Christmas as well. It's just like on the first day you got this. On the second day you got this. I feel like this is universe celebrating you for who you are. I feel like this is a huge celebration. Ace of Cups energy I'm seeing for this. Or is that the Two of Cups? They're showing in this deck, excuse me, my allergies, but here it's like all these candles. Hanukkah energy, right? We're heading into Hanukkah. So it's just like, unconditional love is what they're showing me. Funny enough, they told me to pull from this deck, but I'm seeing in my mind's eye all of the astrology answers cards, which is so funny. And that's a deck I most of the time, depending if you got a reading from me or not, you would see that deck in there. And I always share with you guys when Hay House has those decks on sale. Actually, this week they may have. I'm not guaranteeing, I don't work for them, I don't get paid by them, but usually around the holidays, they usually do some great sales there. Black Fridays, all that stuff's coming up, so keep an eye on that. But, Ten of Cups signifying, with Hanukkah, it's like, even though kind of like logically you're like, this should not last, and the universe is like, but you can't really hold on to logic because you don't, your life is not logic. You know what I mean? Your belief system isn't logic. The reason I say that is because it's like sometimes we think something's going to happen, and then the universe, like literally this song is like, help was on the way. And it talks about Elijah going to visit the woman with her child. I don't know if she was a widow or not. I don't believe, I would have to read it again. And like, you'd think I sing this hymn every Friday that I would know it, but it's like literally like help is on the way. Before you even knew it was an issue, it was already resolved. Why? Because of who you are, because of your heart, because they're like, we know that even if that was, that money could have been used for something else, your heartstrings, your soul was like, this could be better served here. Like, I know that I have the funds to sit there and back this up. Like, this is not going to make or break me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, God does not want you to sit there and break the bank. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want you to give a percentage, like 30% of your paycheck when he knows that, you're trying to put braces on your kid, you're trying to pay your rent, they said mortgage. You're trying to pay your rent. It's like they don't want you to break yourself. They know that you can't afford it this time. They know because they know. It's like, we taught you how to do the things properly. We taught you to take care of your bill. So we don't want you to go against that. We don't want you to sit there and sacrifice paying your light bill or feeding your kids to sit there and do that. Like they said, even $1, your heart is in the right place. Your soul is in the right place. You don't have to sit there and put figures and all that. This is that worldly bullcrap, right? 9 of Coins. So rebirth. We're getting a lot of that with this Empress energy. We literally got the Empress, right? Of this rebirth. We got the Ace of Wands, right? Showing rebirth. And then here comes the Empress, or the 9 of Coins, where, again, emphasizing the belly. It's like you're either going to be physically giving birth, Or you're gonna sit there. Oh, I hope it's not. Oh, they just showed me someone that I follow on TikTok about this. Or this is you giving birth to something in your life, a rebirth in your life because you took the step to do the things because you had trust. You're like, I'm not going to do anything that's going to harm me and my family or affect us in a bad way, but I'm going to sit there and entertain these things because it's just like they've heard the conversations. They see how unhappy you are, with certain things in life, and it's like we know that it's not that you're unappreciative. It's just that they know you could be better use somewhere else. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why they're saying, like, her dress is really standing out, that color. So I don't know if that color is going to mean something to you. Maybe it's your favorite color or like a teal ring. But that blue really stands out. But it's just like in this crazy energy that happened last week. And it's like some information may have been told to you or you made steps in those energies. This is why I say just because retrograde happens does not mean, they're saying missed opportunity. This does not mean that it's all bad. It's like you could have sat there and took this chance maybe before. Maybe this was offered to you before, so it gives it a second chance. I know what they say, don't sign major contracts and this and that. But, this is us working through our shadow energy. Remember talking about like the 4 of coins. They're showing 8 of Cups in fear of stepping forward. And who isn't? We're always in fear of the unknown. 5 of Swords. So, like, ends of conflict. This could be inner conflict with yourself, how you talk to yourself. 4 of Cups here. So, this is where you're showing the universe, like, you know what? I appreciate everything I have in my life, but I want more. I want what's outside here. She's sitting under the tree of knowledge there, And it's like some of us where they're talking about clairvoyance, clairaudience. We got the Judgment card. You know what I mean? It's like being open to communication. Be open to synchronicities. Literally talking about how it's like I heard my name called out. And I remember reading from the Catholic Bible, from the Christian Bible, from the Torah. It's like, you sit there and it's like, I'm not sure if it was Daniel or not, but how many of them were called? And it's like, it's like, what do you say? And I'm like, here I am. I'm going to say here I am. Why not? What else can I say? Yep, this is concentrating on your work. So work is sideways. So this is like a change in work to make this come forward. I feel like it's like kind of like everything is kind of void of course where you go to work, do your thing, da-da-da-da. But then they're showing like standing upright. So I feel like because of the holiday season, maybe the eyes are not there. So then after the holiday season, they come on you. Or this is something you're working on and that's when eyes come on you. They're saying trust and believe. I don't think this is going to be a decision you're going to have to worry about. I don't think, you know what I mean? Going out in the world. I feel like it's just taking us out of our comfort zone. 4 of coins. You don't have nothing to fear. So a lot of 4s there. 4 of swords, 4 of coins, 4 of cups. 4, 4, 4. The Emperor, so it could be revolving around your foundation. But remember, maybe it's not your home foundation they're working on. Maybe this is your work foundation. We have multiple foundations, that build up the pillar of who we are. You're not the type of person to tear down your household. You're someone that's valued. King of Cups, let the universe feel. If you're exhausted, and don't do things that exhaust yourself. You don't have to do all the things. You don't have to have 12 different kinds of pies. Like, I'm sure your family will utilize it, you know what I mean, after everybody leaves. But you don't have to do all the things. You know what I mean? Like, 8 of Spears, something, again, going to the 4 of Cups with the raven or the crow there. And it's just like something coming out of the blue. Some of you, remember they were talking about love. So they're saying like you will go to work. Oh, you'll be great for my brother. And they set you up with their brother. This is the one that everybody's been talking about. But you already are currently seeing someone in a relationship or something like that. So, you know what I mean? It's just like, again, you're not the type that throws down your foundation. Okay, so I'm going to end here because it's getting long. So they're showing the sun. You will be victorious, lifting your head up to the sky. And I like I said, if you're exhausted, just sit there and call in that energy back in. 6 of Spears, you will be the victor wearing the wreath. Sorry I have to end it there, but some of the platforms don't like it when it goes too long. So may the universe bless you good. Call back in your energy. Protect your boundaries. Very full moon energy. The moon card where it's like, the wolf moon. cutting out boundaries again, calling back in your tribe. But it's like, like they said, holiday weekend, eyes are not so much on you, but then they do come on you in a most beautiful, positive way. The right eyes will be on you. So may the universe bless you good. Happy holidays to everyone celebrating. We'll see you for the next one.